Harry's Wife. Part 101.25. Title Troubles. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, continuing to utilise current events to enable you to understand more about why Harry's wife behaves as she does and to extend your knowledge of narcissism. As always, I leave it for you to determine the veracity of the material that I reference. I simply provide you with an interpretation, adding my unrivaled expertise with regard to understanding narcissism and conveying that understanding to you. As it sometimes might be said, well, art got at foot of our stairs, at trouble at mill. And indeed, there may be trouble ahead, as someone once sang, as, according to the Daily Beast in an article by Tom Sykes, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet won't be HRHs. Harry's wife and Harry are reportedly furious. The report suggests the Monty Shitshow branch of the royal family is irate that their kids won't get his and her Royal Highness titles. Silver lining, they will be Prince and Princess. In what is perhaps the ultimate in first world problems, King Charles is not expected to bestow an HRH honorific on Harry and Harry's wife's kids, but they will become Prince and Princess. It has been reported. The Sun reports that the new arrangements, which will formalise the names of Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, are expected to be confirmed over the coming weeks. According to a custom begun in 1917, the grandchildren of the king are given prince or princess titles. Great-grandchildren are not. But an exception is made for the grandchildren of the heir to the throne, which is why the Cambridge kids are known as Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. It's why students of the unwritten British Convention have declared that Harry's wife was wrong when she said in her interview with Oprah Winfrey that her children were denied a title unfairly. Well, of course, Harry's wife is never going to let being wrong stand in the way of causing a kerfuffle, because her sense of entitlement drives her to do so, and her narcissistic lens causes her to see that there is prejudice, hatred, discriminatory treatment when there isn't. Her children were not given the prince and princess title because they quite simply were not entitled to them. However, when that, because it's a threat to control, because they are extensions of Harry's wife, when that percolates through her narcissistic lens, her narcissism interprets it as this. There is a threat to control because they have not been given titles. We must tell this narcissist that the reason why they've not been given titles isn't because they're not allowed them yet, because they are simply grandchildren, they are great-grandchildren of the monarch. Instead, we'll let her believe that this is a consequence of a racist decision by a colonial empire that still wishes to browbeat anybody of colour. Yes, let's pop that thought into this narcissist's head, let her run with it, and that will motivate her as a consequence of an indignant and hateful response, believing that to be true. And thus that's what the narcissism does. Because of this need for control over the environment and the people that are in it, the narcissist must always be motivated through various emotions and thoughts and beliefs to ensure that that control is obtained, maintained, and threats are nullified, that fuel is drawn, that character traits and residual benefits are similarly acquired. The narcissist can't just sit there like a blancmange doing nothing. Accordingly, the narcissism causes a different perception of the world, so that whilst everybody else will see it, or those who aren't of a sugary variety, will see it as, you simply don't get the titles because great-grandchildren don't get them. That's it. Simple as. Her narcissism interprets as racist decision. Thus, she's in high dudgeon, and it motivates her to complain about it to Oprah by way of pity play. There's a certain control in drawing fuel. Returning to the article. However, if they were not to be given the titles now that their grandfather is king, she would be proved quite right, and maybe her supporters will say, this is what she meant all along. Well, they're bound to, but she didn't mean this. She didn't say that. There is no doubt that under the 1917 rules, their children should automatically become HRHs. Equally, there is little denying that it would be very odd if Archie and Lilibet were publicly using the HRH title when their parents have been asked not to do so, and have agreed to that request. King Charles's office declined to comment on the report to the Daily Beast. The Sussex's office has been contacted for comment. However, The Sun says that the decision not to create Archie and Lilibet as His or Her Royal Highness's HRHs has angered the children's parents. The Sun quotes a source as saying, Harry and Harry's wife were worried about the security issue, and being Prince and Princess brings them the right to have certain levels of royal security. There have been lots of talks over the past week. They have been insistent that Archie and Lilibet are Prince and Princess. They have been relentless since the Queen died, but they have been left furious that Archie and Lilibet cannot take the title HRH. That is the agreement. They can be Prince and Princess, but not HRH, because they are not working royals. There are plenty of other non-working royals who are HRHs, of course. Prince Andrew's daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, spring to mind. Yes, but Beatrice and Eugenie haven't spent the last couple of years throwing shit at the institution that's the royal family. This, of course, demonstrates the blindness that is generated by Harry's wife's narcissism. She agreed, as did old Ginger Bollocks, to not use the HRH titles. That was the deal. It therefore doesn't really make much sense, does it, if their children are to have HRH if they don't. Just be content with the fact that they get the Prince and Princess title, which also, strangely, why are you interested in having that, seeing as you don't want anything really to do with the royal family? We, of course, all know the answer. Money. It provides leverage. And because those two children are an extension of Harry's wife, their titles mean that actually they're her titles, that she can use in order to assert control, draw fuel, and gain the residual benefit through facade management and, of course, filthy lucre. All of this means that her narcissism, when it hears that their children are not being given something that she believes they're entitled to, ignites her fury. It doesn't cause her to go, well, actually, let's think about this. We're not HRH, so it'd be a bit incongruous for them to be HRH as well. So, no point kicking up a stink. Furthermore, I don't really want anything to do with the royal family. We'll keep the titles, that's nice. But, again, they're Prince and Princess, that should do. I'm not going to kick up a stink about HRH. But her narcissism won't let her do that. Because her style of narcissism is such that it must operate in the moment. And the purported decision that they're not HRH not only offends her sense of control, but also impacts upon the other aspects which may well be beneficial to her. And as a consequence of that, her response is the ignition of fury and reports of her being furious. And of course, Ginger Bollocks has to be the same, otherwise he will get the electric cattle pods applied to his pink pods once again. The article concludes, if the palace wants to now change the rules going forward to restrict the issuing of HRHs to working royals, as opposed to grandchildren of the monarch, it is of course its right to do so, but that will present a significant shift. And the only people to lose out, at least until Louis and Charlotte have kids, will be Harry's children. Not a great luck. That's what the Daily Beast has to say about it. What about Meor.com? Prince Harry and Harry's wife left furious as Archie and Lilibet are denied HRH status. Prince Harry and Harry's wife's children, Archie and Lilibet, will not get HRH titles from King Charles III, but they will be a prince and princess. HRH title means the member of the royal family will be referred to as His or Her Royal Highness in a direct form of address, both written and spoken. And now the children not receiving this title has left Harry and Harry's wife furious. It then quotes the report provided by The Sun. And Harry's wife has previously claimed in an interview with Oprah Winfrey that the HRH title was denied to Archie due to his race. We know that to be a lie. And that she doesn't have any attachment to the grandeur of official titles. Again, facade management and another lie. If she hasn't, why does she keep using it? She said, all the grandeur surrounding this stuff is an attachment that I don't personally have. Bollocks. I've been a waitress, an actress, a princess, a duchess. I've always just still been Harry's wife. So for me, I'm clear on who I am, independent of that stuff. No, you live your life through marrying men and acquiring their character traits and residual benefits as you control them. And the most important title I will ever have is Mom. I know that, but the idea of our son not being safe and also the idea that the first member of colour in this family, also not true, not being titled in the same way that other grandchildren would be. It then talks about the rules from previously and so forth. So they're in high dudgeon about it. But there's further trouble on the horizon, because not only has HRH status apparently being denied to Lilibet and Archie, thus manifesting as a threat to control to Harry's wife, the good burghers of Sussex are rising up. Are they coming forth with lit torches and pitchforks, demanding, "Burn the ginger curlies, cast her out"? Well, let's find out from Fox News in an article by Janelle Ash, which tells us, pressure builds on Prince Harry as the people of Sussex petition to remove his and Harry's wife's titles. Prince Harry and Harry's wife were given the royal titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex by Queen Elizabeth II following their wedding in May 2018. Since then, Harry and Harry's wife have faced heavy scrutiny and gave up their senior royal roles in 2020 and moved to Monte California. There have been several petitions made online requesting that the Duke and Duchess be stripped of their royal titles. Royal expert Hilary Fordwich shared with Fox News Digital, Harry's wife and Harry were welcomed with open arms at the time after their title appointing. We saw the royal wedding. We saw the outpouring from the public in support of them. She was welcomed with open arms at that time. Don't forget, Prince Harry was one of the favourites. He's plummeted in the polls now, but he was one of the royal favourites. Since the fall in rank by the public and the rise of online petitions, Harry has faced scrutiny by the media and British citizens. The Parallel Parliament filed a petition following the couple's move to the United States with the description reading, "The title was given to them at marriage on the basis that they would be working royals serving the monarchy. As this is no longer the case, this title cannot be used for personal financial gain. It therefore has no purpose and must be removed." Here's what could happen next for Harry's wife and Harry. Prince Harry and Harry's wife received their royal rank as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex following their wedding in May 2018. After Queen Elizabeth's death, Harry's father, King Charles III, has continued to give Harry and Harry's wife their royal titles. Benign assertion of control. The Queen has today been pleased to confer a dukedom on Prince Henry of Wales. His titles will be Duke of Sussex, Earl of Dumbarton, and Baron Kilkeel, the royal website shared following the couple's wedding day. Prince Harry thus becomes His Royal Highness the Duke of Sussex, and Ms. Harry's wife on marriage will become Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. In 2020, Harry and Harry's wife stepped down as senior royals in the family and set their sights on California. The couple purchased a $14 million home in Monte California, where they currently reside and raise their 2 children, Murchie, 3, and Lilybucks, 1. In Apple TV's Plus mental health docuseries The Me You Can't See, Prince Harry sat down with Oprah Winfrey and said he received total silence and total neglect from the royal family in response to Harry's wife's difficulty adjusting. Harry shared that he and his wife made the decision to step away after asking for help for years and received total silence from members within the royal family, yada yada. In March 2021, Harry's wife and Harry sat down in a bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey that sparked heavy backlash. Harry's wife made hefty accusations about the royal family involving racism. Yada, 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 repeats all of that. Then talks about Harry doing his series, yada, yada, yada. Following Harry's wife and Harry's decision to step down as senior royals, there has been a petition made online requesting the Duke and Duchess be stripped of their titles so it cannot be used for personal financial gain. Fordwich touched on the petition to remove their royal titles after their exit to Fox News Digital. There has been a petition, a movement from the people of the county of Sussex they're supposed to represent to remove them. Why? Because they're taking the name, but they're not doing anything for the people of Sussex. This is a dilemma. This is not a celebrity role, it is a role of duty. So you need to do your duty and then hold the title. Why would anybody want the title if they don't want to do their duty to the people of the county of Sussex? You either do or you don't. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, you can if you're Harry's wife, because the attitude of the narcissist is, I can have the title but not do anything in relation to it. I can have the title because it's mine, and now it's mine, you must not take it from me. Fordwich continued, "If you're Duchess of Sussex and Duke of Sussex, you're supposed to serve the people, and your duty is to be there and to go there and visit people's homes and go to churches and go to schools and go to hospitals. That's what the Duke and Duchess do. That's what they should do. For example, the Queen's youngest son, Prince Edward, he's the Count of Wessex, and his wife is the Countess of Wessex. They go to Wessex, and that's what they do. So it's very important to recognise that the people of Sussex are being served." The parallel Parliament filed a petition following the couple's move to the United States with a description that reads, "The title was given to them at marriage on the basis that they would be working royals serving the monarchy. As this is no longer the case, this title cannot be used for personal financial gain. It therefore has no purpose and must be removed." Buckingham Palace shared a statement in 2021 after Harry's wife and Harry made their move to the United States. Following conversations with the Duke, the Queen has written confirming that in stepping away from the work of the royal family, it isn't possible to continue with the responsibilities and duties that come with a life of public service. The statement said, "While all are saddened by their decision, the Duke and Duchess remain much loved members of the family." King Charles III spoke to his nation and the Commonwealth for the first time as Britain's sovereign on Friday and addressed the change, or lack thereof, in royal titles within the family. Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge were named Prince and Princess of Wales, and Charles expressed love for Harry and Harry's wife as they continue to build their lives overseas. Royal expert Fordwich shared with Fox News Digital that Harry and Harry's wife will continue to keep their royal titles unless Parliament says otherwise. They'll remain Duke and Duchess of Sussex unless Parliament says otherwise. They can also keep His Royal Highness, Her Royal Highness currently, but that could be changed. Diana, Princess of Wales, had hers rescinded. She lost the HRH honorific, she said. All of that, of course, demonstrates that there's two petitions that exist to strip them of their titles. People aren't happy. They are not liked. And this, of course, manifests as a further threat to control. And undoubtedly Harry's wife will be aware of this, and she will lash out, complaining about this conduct and say, "The only reason we're not liked is a consequence of the poisonous media that is turning people against us. If they got to know me really, they'd know that I was a lovely, delightful, empathic and kind person." Something, of course, that the Suggars trot out repeatedly, even though they, of course, have never met it themselves. Not looking too good on the title front for Harry's wife, both in terms of the lack of HRH for the children and the good people of Sussex rising up by way of a petition, both of which amount to further threats to her need for control. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.